call to order. Is that me? Yeah. Like just on. Oh, I'm a little bit close. Yeah, it's on the screen. It says, if you remember the song. Yeah, I do remember the song. You don't.
Okay.
Well, no, you musically. Also, yeah, catch your. I know I use my. Oh. All right. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All please.
President Everard.
Here.
Vice President Webber.
Here.
Secretary Zeller. Here. Treasurer Zimmerman.
Present.
Trustee Brady. Here. Trustee Leahy.
Yes.
Trustee Dirk is absent.
Is anybody else getting the feedback?
Gotta get going.
Keep your volume all the way down.
Yeah, and I have it all. About now.
I'm gonna look at it.
Didn't know if they have.
So I get, excellent.
It just passed out.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any raised hands online.
All right, thanks a million.
We're just having a little bit of technical feedback up there.
I think we're good.
We're good.
Because pardon me?
You need your screen bigger. Yep, you're good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so public comments in the room, there's nobody online?
I'm not seeing any raised hands online.
Okay, great, thank you, Amelia. All right, let's move on then to new business. Let's review the agenda. We have a chance to take a look and if there's any items on there that you want removed. All right, that just takes consensus, right? We don't need a vote.
Right, tonight's just a discussion on any of the items, just to make sure what open here. No, she's having fun tonight, isn't it? It's just not, it's not in the cards tonight.
I see no objections to any
Yeah.
agenda items, so I think we're okay. Gonna move on? Let's go to the tentative combined annual budget and appropriation ordinance.
All right, so again, this is on other board business for Tuesday evening, and that is our budget. It's been presented now in final form online. If I will just say from the tentative budget, if board members, if you want a physical hard copy, we're happy to print one out for you, or if you want to wait until the final one goes through, then we can do that for you as well. But it's all put together. And thank you, Andy, for all your work on this and everybody else that helped, really the leadership team that works as a team to get everything all organized and the narratives, et cetera. So it hasn't changed since the descriptions of when we last informed you on where things are at. Andy, anything else you want to add to it?
I do have a question. On the IMRF portion of it, I thought that was more kind of flat line, but I noticed it's up a lot.
Expenditure, total expenses?
Yeah, the projection for 27. I thought the IMRF pension section was kind of flatlining in the last few years because of funding.
We were 8.6 last year, calendar 26, we're 8.59. And the rate slightly changed. The total cost is up with the wages, but somewhat proportional. And the only other thing I can think of is I'd have to look unless 26 budget was off a little bit.
Okay.
I may have budgeted that.
Yeah, I mean, all the other years were fairly, a nominal increase. It was just 6 to 7 was more than some of the other years.
When I get it pulled up, I'll take a look. I'm checking something real quick. Register once I can see it.
All right,
And so tonight, really, there's nothing, just again, discussion. It'll be forth for action under other board business, and then in February, we'll have our public hearing on the budget, and then you'll put it the February regular meeting, and then it's off to the county. And then we'll be asking board members to join us for those presentations, and we'll have it all wrapped up. So it'll be good to start the school year on April 1st. Not that long, not too far in the distant future.
well, you've been meetings all day?
All day,
Oh, my God.
all
This
day.
looks more comfortable now.
Yeah. I had to take the suit off, you're right.
All right, the status on the forward to 2040.
I think it's
Elizabeth and I were chatting right after the first of the year, and or I think it was then, or maybe it was in December, and she said, we probably should be. We're giving updates in the wiki wow that comes out, on a weekly basis. But we thought, why not encapsulate a few of these things, bring you folks along? We're talking about an 18-month or 17-month long process. So we thought, why not just have a quick discussion, keep you up to speed on where we are. So the worst thing in the world would be we get 12 to 15 months down the road and you folks are looking at us going, what? So we'll take every month, if the president wants it, we'll take a few minutes and just cover a couple of, where we gotten or where we come from, how are we getting, and where are we gonna head. So that's really what I'm gonna talk about. The fall, and we inked an agreement with them in September. In the fall, we did those kickoff meetings. I believe that was in October. And then since then, the heavy lift was getting all of the data, all of the information transferred to Upland, the Upland team. What was cool about it is they set up a portal. And so rather than having to try to do that, all these big files via email, we were able to just put it right in a portal. So sometime in the fall, the staff just started collecting all of that stuff, and we started transferring it right around the middle part of December. All of that information is now in their hands, and they're beginning to, one of the processes they're doing is beginning to look through that information, and they're starting to ask a few questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? Which means to me that that's how it's supposed to be working. So that was a big heavy lift in October and November, and then in December we were transferring stuff. Also in December, we're setting up, we're beginning the phase, which is kind of a fun phase, which is the community outreach, the community, gathering and community input. We're seeing that in 3 different phases. We set up all of those meetings. The first one actually is starting tomorrow, and that is the technical advisory group. They're the high level folks, the people that have been through planning processes before, community leaders, things like that. And we're relying on them to help steer, guide this thing. I believe President Eberhard is sitting on that group as well tomorrow. So we're expecting those folks to help us carry that message out there and get people excited about this planning process and through the duration. So that starts tomorrow. The second phase of that is the stakeholders meeting. We took from all of our, a year and a half ago, we created this list of stakeholders. We reached out to those folks during the ballot initiative. We've met with a lot of them to, gauge, to help educate and things like that. Well, we took that list and pared it down to about 50 key individuals, not on the tag or that technical advisory group, but other people. They would be people like from the historic preservation commissions, from the snowmobile associations, horse enthusiasts. I'm thinking underserved populations. We found some of those folks as well. I'm missing 1 or 2. Recreational interest, education interest, natural resources interest. So we're bringing all of those people together in the first week of February and sitting down with them at Lost Valley Visitor Center. There's a couple of different opportunities. I believe it's February 3rd One is at 2:30 and the other one is, I think, at 6 p.m. So one is the afternoon, one is the evening. We're gonna bring those folks together and have a conversation with them and gather their input from that standpoint. So that's stage two. Stage three are the large ones. Those are the community open houses. Those are scheduled for February 18th from 5 to 7 and on March 4th from 5 to 7. The one on the 18th in February is at Lost Valley Visitor Center, and the one on the 4th is at McHenry County College. So those are the real nuts and bolts of getting community input, at least at, face-to-face kind of opportunities. So those are all rolling, what I consider this winter. And the data analysis is being done. They're Upland and their team are working on that. The promotional cards, one of the things that right now is happening is heavy lift for Caitlin and her team in marketing is getting the word out. I want our goal is everybody that wants to have a voice gets the opportunity to have a voice. And in front of you are these little palm cards. Ask that you take them with you, hand them out to organizations and clubs you belong to, hand them out to people that you think might be interested. Caitlin's team is working a lot of different promotional things. There's articles in the landscapes. There's newspaper articles going out there. They're going to do social media ads. There's going to be a full court press on getting this word out here in the next month. To make sure that we, fill Lost Valley Visitor Center and fill the Luft Auditorium at McHenry County College. So if you need any more of these, please get rid of the water. Please distribute the ones you have. If you need any more, on March 5th, these are paperweights at that point, and they're not worth anything because that's what's advertised here. So we want to try to get them all out of here. That's really that's where we are with things. What I will report next month when we chat again is what will March, April, and May be looking like, so that you can start looking forward and planning out things that you might want to attend. We hope that you're all invited to the stakeholders meeting. I think that information was pushed out to you. Hope that you come sit and listen and hear the folks and dialogue with them. We hope that you all come to the community open houses. And again, it's an opportunity to dialogue with people who probably care dearly about McHenry County Conservation District and conservation in the county. So are there any questions that I might be able to answer?
Paul.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bob.
We decided against mailings.
Correct. We're not doing direct mailings. We had a long conversation about that at one of the steering committee meetings, and what came out of it was we knew that with social media, or you can actually reach people multiple times with that if we send a mailer out, it's one and done. And if it doesn't land in the hand of somebody that's actually interested in it, it's going to go in the trash. So we decided between newspaper ads, we are taking a couple ads out in the newspaper. We are doing, we're hoping that they'll run our articles, doing social media ads, push outs like that. We're doing these palm cards. Caitlin, what am I missing?
I think you're covering e-newsletters, volunteers, and all of our subscribers, etc.
Yeah, everything's going out to volunteers.
And with the tag group, all the technical advisory groups, that your organization heads that are in different sectors, we hope that they will leverage their information outlets and again, help us share it.
So you'll reach out to the Hispanic community that way.
Well, they're on our list of groupings that we have.
We'll have a toolkit to send to partner agencies, will include graphics and things like that, that they can then distribute in their newsletters, etc.
Great, that's great.
Yeah. So so
We want to create a buzz, right?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
And it's on our website too, all the dates.
Yes. Yeah, all of that information is all out there ready. And if you link to anything, it all links there. There's comment cards and all that stuff being generated. So if you can't come to the meetings, you can do it that way as well. So
Farmers newsletters with the F2.
yeah, we've invited one of the groups that is coming, that I don't know if they've RSVP'd yet, but we did invite the McHenry County Farm Bureau, hoping that they'll respond and say, yeah, we'll be there. Paul, did you have a question?
Yeah, so if we hand these out, there's a QR code that says, stay up to date on the process. Will this QR code follow this?
Yeah.
As we go, and
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
kind of the way that they,
I believe it's gonna drive them to our website
Yeah.
and that is where all the information will just be keep getting updated.
updated.
Where we are, what's coming next.
So, thank you.
Oh, well, thanks, John. It sounds like we're off to a really good start. And, you know, this is a really good opportunity right now as people are coming forward on regardless of what the topic is to say, hey, we've got this process underway and, you know, this would be a good thing to get your input. And
Yeah.
I've seen Elizabeth play that card 3 or 4 times here. Just,
Yeah.
We're already steering them that way, yeah. And that was one of the things we were a little behind on, is that we had people that knew about this process and knew we was having, and wanted to start giving us input on it, and we hadn't yet gotten those things set up. Those are now set up, so we can direct them right to it. Here's where you go, you follow that, leave your comment.
And I think that the key piece for board members, really important, is we want to invite you to be present for the stakeholders, not to participate, right? Because you're going to have your forum here to do the plan. But it's just good to be another ear listening in and helping us as ambassadors of the organization through the process. So at the open houses, folks can make those, you know, just encourage you. So it's not in a meeting, there's not going to be any issue of Open Meetings Act violation, but it's your presence is great.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And John's doing, I will just shout out to John. John's doing an amazing job in keeping organized, pushing things out, using tools, really is just very pleased, as well as the steering committee staffing team has taken it up, and the whole staff, for them to pull all the documents that were pulled together and to meet the timeframe upland. I think they're impressed with the staff and how we're delivering, and they're doing a great job too. And we've really gotten to work with their main principals. Now we'll start to get into work with all of their subcontracts. I also, just going around the table here, Upland Design did send some caramels for the holidays.
Oh, that's where
And I
they
saved
get
it, so that's, so there's a card here. So again, share that around the room here. That's from Upland. And just.
Jack, why don't you grab your best room back there?
I'm out of diet, I can't touch.
No. You can help pass it around.
All right. Okay. The next topic is the Prairie Trail Route 14 underpass discussion.
Yes, so let's see here, where to begin, and this has a long history, but I just wanna, for those that have been out on when we do onboarding, I take board members down to the Prairie Trail. You know, we're working on our wayfinding signage at Prairie Trail, being it's our linear park system, ties into the Grand Illinois Trail. Bicycling trails are like number one, right? Everybody, they're really important to us. And as far as in Crystal Lake, we had not acquired a lot of property in Crystal Lake proper because they have the Crystal Lake Park District. We have a lot of property in Cary. They also have a park district, but ultimately, but we have made significant investment in the Prairie Trail through the city of Crystal Lake. This area, to go forward, goes back quite some time, related to where the board and the city were back and forth to make brief on who was going to care and maintain this area at the intersection of the underpass. And so the underpass was put in by the Illinois Department of Transportation, and the city of Crystal Lake signed that agreement with the state, and the district was not party to that agreement. But I think from the discussions that have gone back and forth between time, a lot of time has passed. There's been different leadership of both sides from our board of trustees, as well as their elected officials at the city of Crystal Lake. And just about a year ago, not even, the new city manager reached out to me and said, would the district be willing to pick back up the conversation on the Prairie Trail? And where it had been left is there was some time and communication without bringing it back and forth, where there were some expectations, demands, you know, without going back and forth. And we had our last and final offer that came from our board was back in 2017. That was an area that where the district shared to have some would take some responsibility for some areas. They did not accept that agreement at that time, and so then there it sat. And so that's going back 2017, that's almost 10 years ago. So here we are today. And we've got some pictures. Lloyd was out doing some recon today. And I can say that not much has shifted. The area that is the tunnel, and I'll show up a map there, that is with the state. So they do their inspections. That's with the city right now. The city has the responsibility for that, the state. And so at the time when this all started, there were some engineering that was involved. There was some shared effort on engineering to see what the state of affairs were. And so the area is stable. There hasn't been anything from that. I think there's a lot of aesthetics, but clearly with any type of area that's a built environment or whether natural environment, it needs some TLC, it needs investments to care for. So here is a position, and Val, maybe you can talk, everybody, you want to point, are you able to point the jurisdictions here where we are?
Well, what's outlined in black there is just the district owned real estate. So it's just relevant to the conversation because when there's going to be work that you'll see that again, we both at the same time, but part of the approach to the trail and everything is not on real estate that we own. So it's just part of this IDOT project, but not anything that we would have jurisdiction in without some permission, right of entry to go in there and take care of things. So that's one of the issues that would have to be addressed within any type of agreement.
But as far as the
solution going forward.
Right, but the surface of the trail, we've been maintaining the surface of the trail. We have it named as the Conservation District's Prairie Trail, but then it just goes under.
And just, the location of it is Main Street, right? Let's see, 14 and Main Street. So it's the busiest intersection in Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy for people to try and cross it. So I mean, that tunnel is used.
Correct. And that was why when they came through this with the road improvements, is they saw development. And if you go to Lake County, DuPage County and other areas, and even in McHenry County, we've got bridges that go over Raycow Road. We've got up in the Algonquin area there, we've got over bridge that takes us across. Lake County has several this was a cast in place. They do it differently now these days. But anyhow, these are current pictures as of late this morning.
Noon today.
Noon today.
Actually saw a jogger go through this. So
Good work. I have a quick question, if I may. Is the Conservation District responsible for the tunnel or just before and after the tunnel? Or was that why you're
that's what we're
right
trying
at
to
the
determine. We don't have any
government?
now.
Okay.
We don't have any now other than the surface of the trail. But because this thing is falling apart, as my pictures show, the question is, should we do something? And I'll just put my cards on the table. I think we should do something. We got a sign right out, just out that way. So that picture,
Right.
I believe, is the one looking west. And about 50 feet, once you exit that tunnel, is a big McHenry County Conservation District sign.
Right.
The trail is clearly our trail. We have our urban prairie is another 100 yards down the road from that. So I mean, it would be perfectly reasonable for any person to say that must be the district's tunnel.
So it's district land, but the question is the maintenance of just that piece.
Yeah.
And it was never,
It was never
really defined.
It was never defined.
Who would take care of that piece?
And to her point, to Elizabeth's point earlier, in 2017, this board said, nope, it's your city. You put it in, you bought it, it's yours. So the question now, they're trying to say, look, something needs to be done. It needs all kinds of work. And I think there's three more pictures that show more, but this one right here, there's actually, those are icicle stalactites coming through. You can see the cracks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much in the middle.
It's peeling, so there hasn't been any regular maintenance. It's sat for this quite some time. These pictures look exactly 10 years ago. So there looks like there've been a little bit surface painting down there over on the sides.
Well, I think they cleaned it because you can see where there had been graffiti and it's faded. So they did something to try and get it. But yeah, look at the paint peel in there.
Sure.
And there's cracks in the concrete.
And then the parapet walls that, let me go back here, the walls that approach, which are the ones that are further back. They're like the cinder blocks that come up to it, so that leads as you go down into the tunnel. But, so, yes, there's an aesthetics beautification issue, which I think is that, again, 10 years ago with the engineering, there was no, in the state, you know, there's nothing that this is in danger. But again, that was 10 years ago, so I can't say for sure. The district's perception is it is our Prairie Trail, and when the city signed the agreement, that put them as they either had to take care of it or cause to create, if the read of the language, so they can, and that's kind of what started. They said, okay, district, take care of this. This is your Prairie Trail. You need to take care of this.
The construction though that the district did was only on the flat ground where the trail is. You didn't do any of the construction around that.
Correct. Our trail, before they put the underpass in, our trail on our land was going across at the street level, right, at grade.
Right.
And so when they reconvened and placed this in, there was some movement of land or transfer or payment of land to pick up the pieces that they needed to put this in. But yeah, so our area of land ownership, going back to that picture.
Right. But even more than ownership is that they are the ones who actually built the surrounding structure.
The
And now
state
they're,
built it and they signed the agreement.
and they're asking now the district to repair that surrounding structure that's in disrepair.
Well, the tunnel, so what the agreement initially when it came back is they were pushing everything towards the district, including that.
Well, wait, if I could just, there's three in it, it's the state, the city, and us.
Mhm.
So if the state built it.
Okay.
The city is saying, okay, we own it now, the city,
Right.
but Park District, or excuse me, Conservation District, it's your trail, work with us and, you know, pay for some things and help us
Pay for the
design.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Help pay for the
forward.
surrounding as well.
Well, if the surrounding, mean the wall and the ceiling,
Yes.
yeah.
The original from back where we started, where they came to us and said, we want the district to take care of it, where they were looking to that. They were talking everything. Okay. The board at that time, there was a lot of back and forth to say, no, we're not taking it all. And then we had offered some items and then we volleyed that back and forth, which wasn't acceptable. And then where we left it. So the agreement is attached in the packet from
Right.
2017 was generous. It gave some very specific items to which we would be responsible in maintaining going forward. The cast in place that's underneath the road, no, that's not something that we're suggesting that the district has responsibility for. Should that area have a problem, I mean, that's a state, that's a road, that's, so we're saying the areas that approach the handrails, the parapet walls that come under.
Maybe the
The
lighting.
surfacing that needs to be cleaned up there, that's what we're talking
That
about.
was noted in one of the packets sent out, I think, all that, the list of items, but I don't recall what was the overall maintenance cost?
So back in 2017, well, you don't have that, so I knew that question was gonna come up. So what we estimated, and again, back at the time with the engineering, and my number here. It was just about $280,000 to do the areas that would make repairs. And so that's what we had, and that was to the cost of the cast in place of the approach walls, the head walls, and the parapets. It was not that main cast in place. We inflate that, and we're doing some rough estimates of where we are today, 10 years later. Again, construction costs, what that would be for public works, it could be anywhere between a 3% to 6% inflationary. So $375,000 to $500,000, right? Don't know until we go out and do some.
And the only decision point we're at is, should we work with the city to try and come up with a solution? Or do we say, no, we'll keep the trail, you know, the floor of the tunnel will be ours, and that's kind of the crossroads we're at. And it seems to me that this is a perfect opportunity to say, yes, city will work with you. And John and his team, this 2040, this is a perfect place to try and get some input from the city to say, how important is this trail, and you know, what kind of support is there for it? Because I think that the Prairie Trail is very positive.
My concern, so this is a section of trail I use often. A lot of friends and neighbors use it too. I'm through there all the time, but the perception is that it is the conservation district, you know. So I support obviously working with the city because I feel like if we don't try to nail something down, that they'll let it go. They'll let it go because the perception is that it's ours from the community, you know? Just like you said, the signs are there. I mean, I don't know anyone that doesn't think that it's ours, including the structure around it. Just because like the bridges are ours, right? They go, the bridges that are just a couple miles.
62.
Yeah, those are ours, so. So those are my thoughts. I support getting on this, getting some numbers down and getting it in the budget as soon as.
Have they shared with us the IDOT agreement that they have?
Oh, yeah, we have all that. I didn't pull that all out there. I'm happy to share that with you.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that, there, I've got files and files and files of the back and forth in history. But yes, the agreement, I'm happy to share the IDOT, where the responsible party is. What was I gonna say on this? Other projects that occurred during this point in time when this project went forth, we had intergovernmental agreements that were put together similarly. So we were working like with the city of McHenry at the time of when the Prairie Trail was coming, and not through an underpass, but we had IGAs. There was no IGA that was presented because for whatever reason, couldn't come to agreement between the two bodies at the time, whatever. There's that goes into the history of.
So what is the agreement with Algonquin for the bridge over 62? Do we maintain that bridge or?
We maintain, that's our responsibility to maintain that bridge.
I'm
And
just
even on
wondering what the other jurisdiction, what we're doing with the other jurisdictions.
this would be similar.
Well, and we did a major rehaul renovation of the trail, moved it, you know, beyond the bridge, down by the river, made a whole bunch of changes. That was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
It's a big, huge project.
Yeah, and you've got a new bridge too, because there's a sign for the district for a new bridge going over Fox River between Division Street and Scott Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a whole new bridge there that's got our name on it.
Right, but we're gonna be, so if they built it, if they invested in it, then the agreement is we maintain it. Same thing happened if we looked at the state coming down Ridgefield Trace on all of the projects that go, they'll build it, the grant, but then we're gonna maintain it. And so this is an anomaly that why that wasn't done at the time. And I think that's been part of that, you know, pee under the mattress, so to speak, that just hasn't, it's just not.
It's part of the official record now.
Right.
I do just one more comment too. I do believe now is a great time to living in Crystal Lake as long as I have and seeing the changeover of we'll just say all administration. I think Crystal Lake has changed a lot in terms of their willingness to work with their partners and community feel like than they were 15 years ago.
Changed
So-
for the better.
Yes,
At
much
this
better.
time?
100%.
Do you had a comment?
I was just wondering why they didn't agree to the letter that was proposed in 2017.
Well, because in part, we weren't willing to take it all, and they just felt that this was, we needed to do 100% of everything.
Can I ask, how does this project us into the future for future costs? Is this, are we starting at with a large amount that projected the future is going to be very, very costly, or is this some manageable kind of cost that we're dealing with?
Johnny, do you feel for that?
Donnie, do you mean like a replacement cost if we were have to replace the tunnel or something like that?
If we agree that this is our problem, and everything. Now something else happens in the future, bigger, less, are we responsible going into the future where it's gonna be? Is there something into the future that could be even more costly when we have to deal with it?
Yeah, don't have a crystal ball, but there has been a change in the Illinois Department of Transportation in the 25 years that I've been, working. They now lean into and embrace bicycle and pedestrians. Case in point, they're funding this wayfinding signage program or plan. They lean into that stuff now. So someday IDOT coming to us and saying that tunnel is failing under Highway 14 and you have to repair it or you have to replace it, not very likely. That's, that's a multi-million-dollar project that would impede the flow of traffic. They're gonna step up and say, okay, how can we work together on this? So that is, that's my crystal ball looking at that. Now, that doesn't mean that, everything that is built out there takes repair and replacement and, you have to continue to do that stuff. Pointed out the paint, that paint's 24 years old, 23 years old, whatever the number is, somewhere around that. Things need to be repainted. That's just a case in point in maintenance. So those are the kinds of costs that, yes, you could see coming down the pipe. Resurfacing that, putting new asphalt down in there or whatever happens, those are the kinds of costs that would be coming out. Now, if those walls start failing.
On the rebar and all the top there is like where all the icicles are.
Yeah, and I don't know what caused it. Obviously, weeping is causing that. So lack of probably, adequate maintenance, that wasn't there 20 years ago. A few years after it was built, it basically over time got worse and worse and worse, and that's really what you're seeing about that.
This is not the part that we would assume structural responsibility for. When we go into the tunnel, we're talking about handrails, painting, surface, cosmetics.
Yeah, but
So therefore, if it collapsed, we wouldn't be on the hook for
We're
it,
not taking responsibility for
and that
that.
would be built into the IGA. To like
Doesn't
your point, John.
Currently, it doesn't specify, it says what we had in the past one where we left it, cast in place, concrete approach, retaining walls. That's the walls coming down, not the structure that's underneath the road. Handrails along the cast in place retaining walls, parapets, safety railing on the parapets, head walls, asphalt trail, anti-graffiti paint, including graffiti control, ADA compliance, transition strips, and railing signage, railing and fencing, and then landscape. So the main structure that's on the road, no, the approach and everything else, but the cosmetics to this would become, someone has to maintain that.
Right.
And so we were suggesting yes, and again, anything that we do, any trail that we built,
You have to
it comes with
maintain
a
it.
cost,
But
you have to
this is
maintain it.
kind of a different animal. So I just have one more question. Is it possible or maybe you know the answer, to build in something to say if something like that did occur, we would not be responsible for it. So in addition to saying we're going to be responsible for just the items that Elizabeth noted, does it make sense to say, to John's point, we don't have a crystal ball, but we're not anything else, and we're not
Yeah, we
responsible?
can disclaim liability, ask for an indemnity, but chances are if that thing collapses.
Yeah.
And a person below it gets killed and the driver of the vehicle goes through,
Right.
I mean, they're gonna sue everybody and then we're gonna have to counter sue. My biggest concern is, who's maintaining that? Because I'm sure you're getting, it's heavily traveled. And I can just imagine semis.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
The tonnage that they're going through and all the stress on that. I mean, to me, if we're gonna fix it up, I would want assurances that someone is going to rebar that and make sure that, but then the problem is you're gonna be shutting down Route 14 or else you're gonna have to do, the zigzags, whatever they do. I would talk to the city or whoever IDOT and say, look, we're willing to consider our part, but it's almost like we're gonna put lipstick on a pig if you guys don't fix the pig. And so I think that's the problem. We've got to get, to me, there's so much stress up there that, there could be an accident waiting to happen.
So the state, when we were back, and it's again 10 years ago, but I would assume I haven't seen the reports because we are not the party that they connect with. But the state and the city, the state inspects this. They were doing regular inspections on the, what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity of
Structural integrity.
structural integrity. And so I appreciate that. I think that's something for a conversation to go back to the city.
Yeah.
And has anything changed and with the state? I mean, we were meeting at the time, we had everybody around the table. There was a lot of conversations that were.
I think IDOT would need to chime in.
Yeah, I think what we're looking at there, like you say, it's a cast in place, so I think that's a control joint that's caulked typically. I think the caulk is failing. Is that what you saw there today?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look up in it, but,
Yeah,
that's right about in the middle, so I think that.
yeah, so a lot of times it's
It
a
was-
cast
yeah,
in
it was.
place.
It was caulked and hard. I can remember back in the day looking up and seeing it, and obviously that's failed.
Fairly simple fix, right?
Okay.
Something that goes for 10 to 15 years and then,
I just think I was embarrassed. I hadn't been down there in a long time. I usually, every time I get on a trail, I get on there just south of there, so I, haven't been in that tunnel for years and years. I was embarrassed, and then when you see our sign right there, it's like, oh, boy, we got.
Wearing your.
No, I was incognito.
But we talk about tourism, we talk about assets, we're talking about branding, there's been some discussion of, could a painting area be a mural that makes this a community of very much of a nice amenity? I mean, it is, the trail is,
Yeah.
it reflects poorly, whether we have the agreement or what took place, everybody should work together and.
I agree.
And I would even say even more lights. I mean, it's kind of a dismal, kind of like, oh, what, do you show?
Why you want to go down there?
Yeah, so, okay, I'm kind of seeing a consensus. Is anybody not that they think we shouldn't cooperate with the city, at least begin discussions to find out,
And that's all we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not agreeing to anything other than.
Clarity, yes.
I just wanted to ask if there are any concerns that you all have that we haven't talked about yet, other than costs, potential costs now, costs down the road, and potential like structural integrity, potential catastrophic issues. Are there any other concerns that you all have?
I guess
for
that
us to
one
think
point
about?
worth bringing up is there was an accident a couple of years ago, and I'm a little bit foggy on exactly how that came out, but so if two bikes hit one another, for example, or if somebody's down there and mugs a biker as they go through, is there any responsibility or liability on our part? I guess that.
But we have that same responsibility across our entire linear system,
So it's no different.
across the county. If in fact it's something that we're managing and maintaining, we want to encourage bicycle as a trail, right? And so I think we're already, I think the matter of anyone, what was stated, if there's this litigation, everybody's gonna be pulled in, all parties in general, so.
Just out of curiosity, there's, I think 3, maybe 4 security cameras. Does the police in Crystal Lake monitor that, or where do those cameras go?
That's not on the district, we don't have that, it's not on our list.
Well, when we meet with the city, let's ask. I mean,
The last information I had on that, which is, I'm gonna say at least it's 5 years old. It was the city that was monitoring that.
okay, because I was waiting for the police to come while I was down there.
Yeah, that's not on our list, as a response.
All right, consensus, we don't need to vote on this or a motion or anything?
So what the city was, and before was to, are we willing to pick up the discussion of where we last left it with the offer? And then the question I had for them, did they find the last offer to be acceptable, or are they gonna pull it apart? And so they had not brought it back beyond the mayor, but to their city council, but I said, let's start here first, and then we'll circle back.
And we won't agree to anything without coming back to this board and saying, here's where we're at, right? All we're saying is, let's begin the discussions, see where they go. Look for some sort of guarantees for, indemnity and move forward, and then come back to this body to say, here's what we've come up.
And you have a sense that the discussions might result in something this time?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think if there's a commitment to move forward in a collaborative spirit and again, there's good working relationships, so.
And actually, the McCaga's meeting in Crystal Lake, the mayor of Crystal Lake is hosting it. Sean is going, I'm going, did you say?
I'm going.
I'm gonna go, so there's at least 3,
Yeah.
okay, 4 of us, so we can twist some arms or. Informal, so, okay, I think enough on
I'm
that.
thinking about looking to you, because Val was my partner as we work through this process.
I think you summarized everything really well. I think that what the city is looking at, the way I heard it was, is your last offer still good? I think they like what they see now better than when they looked at it initially, and then they're understanding it's maybe take the cookie on the path. Because we made a good, generous, and appropriate offer to protect our brand, because that's what, like you said, everybody thinks it's our trail, and when you look at it, it's not, doesn't reflect how we want our image to be project. So it's a great opportunity, I think, to promote ourselves instead of being embarrassed by it. You know, it's the most heavily trafficked intersection in the county, probably.
I think I saw one nay from the trustee vote on that letter. Unless I'm mixing things up. Do you remember why at least one person was opposed to that letter as it was?
Yeah, there was one there. I'd have to go back to the roll call vote. I don't want to assume who stated without.
I was just curious.
But there
Seems
was
fair.
at the time, if you go back to history, several times we would bring it back or budgeting, just because, again, this was an area that was like, well, we're not. I think just different thoughts of what responsibility was. And again, if you keep looking and just, you're not moving forward, if you want to go forward and build positive relationships and just what should have happened, maybe, you know, not who didn't do it right, but how would you do this if you were to do this today? We were to put in a place, how would we approach we'd approach a partnership that's fair and equitable with another municipality. And so there's a lot more history here, but again, I can share you the files. It's just, I felt like if we pull up all the historical stuff, it doesn't help us move forward and where what needs to happen.
Well, Elizabeth, could we ask that you get back to them before that 28th,
Absolutely.
so that we have an opportunity then to bring that.
I'll hire it tomorrow.
Yeah, good deal. All right. Next agenda item is Executive Director's report.
Okay, what do I have to report? Happy New Year. New Year's come in and we're busy. Team's been working with the new Hike with Mike's, our Trails Less Traveled. Is a spin that we're taking onto for 2026. Again, picking some locations where the public has not seen, and again, to highlight areas such as Camp Lakota. The foundation has acquired the Bison Ranch and Camp Algonquin, the Fox Bluff area. So we're grateful that Chairman Bueller is working with us on that. A lot of some staffing changes, of course, you're going to see next week with Sarah Denham's retirement. And so we're working through those details. You'll see our new county manager being introduced. So we're working through placing, again, through those transitional areas. And then I will say that we did a leadership team retreat, half-day training workshop this past Tuesday. We brought in, again, part of that good to great, but we had the strengths staff had been taking that as part of just self-reflection, and then putting it into a team environment and sharing. And that was a great development opportunity for all of us. So again, really jazzed about the energy of our staff and just the collaborations and what they to do, because they amaze me each and every day of the things that come forth. We've been taking a lot of calls on activity. I've shared an updates as far as threats that have come out related to battery plant propositions that have never formally been introduced to the village, just presented. And again, just communicating to the public, and just so you know, as I did with the foundation on Tuesday night, is that when we get a public notice, there's a formal process where some petition has been introduced, then we take it through and then we will formally respond at that time. Otherwise, when we speak, and I've shared this before, we're not regulatory, but we don't jump at everything. There's other organizations that may stand in line and speak out, but we selectively follow our process. And so we are very much aware. We appreciate everybody keeping us informed. We've had many calls with neighbors and sharing and educating them with that process. Today we were outside. They were talking about the solar farm and the meatpacking plant, and we love conservation. And won't you guys, are you going to say something about, so there's a lot of love for what we do, but there's also the kind of, why aren't we in the ring with everyone else?
The county board got an earful today, didn't they?
Every month. Yeah, we get presented with them and we get, but they're, They're real concerns.
Mhm.
No one knows about them really, you know, and they don't want them by their homes.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing.
And then hunting is wrapping up, right? We heard that, so that's finishing up on Sunday. We'll be out of hunting season. And then obviously spring landscapes is getting ready and finalized to get out to the printer. And you've got all the big updates, but I think the biggest one, and just to acknowledge the board for your continued support, our foundation, and then Val for closing, is the Bigfoot Woods, and that closed right for the new year, and so great to have that all.
Yay.
Well, Elizabeth was in the trenches on that. He carried a lot of water. And thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks for chasing down a grant and
Yes.
you guys did the foundation was huge in this. Good partnership. Thank you. Anything else, Elizabeth?
The only other thing I did have in the notes, I will send out for those that are going to the conference, we'll get that all organized, and then there's gonna be a legislative breakfast, the Mundelein Park District is hosting. So I will be out of town, that's at the end of February, Gabe's gonna go on my behalf, but if board members would join to meet with our legislators and others during that time.
Great. All right, public comments. Anyone in the room?
We have trustees report here.
Oh, did I miss that? I'm sorry, I went right over that. Pardon me. Trustees report. Bonnie, get in.
Yes. We have the two foundation members here, and we would like to thank them very much because because you're receiving the restoration work days and know that you might on occasion go out in the field, you have now been classified as out in the field volunteers. Therefore, you need a little bit of protection from the ticks, perhaps, and they have donated promethium treated socks to everyone. And I brought the sizes here, so what I'd like you to do is come over here at some point in time, select your size, fill out this form, and then Tuesday meeting, I'll bring your socks.
Perfect.
But thanks to the foundation,
Thank
but you do have a new designation.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, we're all getting the emails now for volunteer opportunities.
I didn't know if you did or not. I
Yeah, we
always
did.
get
Right
that.
after that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you.
Well, thank you to Elizabeth. She arranged for all that, so thank you. Yeah.
So we will be taking advantage of those opportunities. Now that we know when they are. Any other trustees?
Yes, I got just hopefully this is the time to bring it up on the Hebron Trail off of Seaman Road. As you walk down toward Goose Lake, you kind of get in an open area. And I've seen gas kind of coming out of the hill and it smells like methane. I wasn't sure if anyone was aware of that, and it's happened on a number of occasions. So I don't have good sense of smell. You can actually see the smoke coming out on this side. So I just wanted to make us aware of it.
Got it. How far down Seaman Road?
If you're gonna go down, give me a date. I just lived down the road. But as you walk toward Lange, so if you get on Seaman, you walk toward Lange.
Yeah.
It's you're covered in trees until you get it opens up, and then you're gonna walk toward the platform. So just past the trees, about 10 yards or so.
We'll give Nicor a call.
Yeah, and then also just past the lookout platform out there. You know, it's you can also see it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I thought you were gonna bring up the pack of bears.
It's old news. Yeah, you know, you're right, that we should make that part of the official record.
Strike
No
over the
bears.
record. Great, John.
No, I just want to make a comment to Elizabeth and the staff, before we pass the ordinance next week on the budget, just commend everyone for their work on that. It's so much work, and I know you probably feel like it never stops. As soon as we pass it, you're working on it again. And it just commends you for, how well you do with just staying within the means, of the tax dollars that come in, continue to try to generate more revenue, holding down expenses. You guys are amazing at it. I also wish I could take off my trustee hat and sit over there and tell the board that, sorry, Paul,
No problem.
that the damn county needs to take note of that. And try to do the same thing as a resident of this town, because, I mean, to look at that budget is just amazing. And our county could do much better.
I sort of say they do a pretty good job over there financially.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But you should be used to this, Paul, right?
It's time. It's time to go into executive session. Oh, wait, we didn't.
Because we
Yes.
seen it all along, it's easy, and then we kind of promote it, and a lot of it's education, because you know what you know, and there's a lot of, there's sometimes. And I think the county does a great job, they're a great partner of ours, and we appreciate that, when we look at ours with our limited ability to do what we do, we stretch to where there's no elasticity anymore, I mean, that was the whole thing, so thankful that we got the proposition passed, because we've. The staff, the board, I mean, it's amazing, but there's also things that we know that haven't been taken care of, things that need attention, that the residents want. That's the whole thing, that we've done the best we can with what we have. So thank you.
Yes, I mean, it's never fun. You guys know what I do every day, and I have to dig through numbers and, you know, billion-dollar government contractors and stuff like that, and then I get to see the crazy stuff that tries to get put through on tax dollars, on the federal tax dollar, and so I'm always very proud of this district. So what they do with what they get.
Thanks, Sean. Any other trustees? Yep.
I just wanted to thank the staff for sharing the Morton Arboretum scholarship option. And I wanted to share that it was very easy to sign up if anyone is thinking about it. I'm registered for one online course about, I think, Native and Indigenous perspectives in conservation, and one about tree identification. That's just for me. And I also plan to watch the data centers webinar that's occurring tomorrow. So thank you for all these opportunities for learning, and I'll be happy to share any insights that I learned.
Thank you. Well. All right. Let's move on to public comments. Amelia, anybody online?
I'm not seeing any raised hands online.
All right, anyone in the room? All right. Anyone want to offer up 11.0 as a motion? Like to go? Okay. Heather?
Move
Yeah,
to go into, do I read the whole thing? Yes. Oh, sorry. I volunteered for something and didn't know what I was doing.
That's the best kind.
To go into executive session pursuant to 2C5 and 2C21 of the Open Meetings Act. That's sufficient.
Yep. You, for a second? Second. By Ron?
Treasurer Zimmerman,
Yes.
Secretary Zeller.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Vice President Wazor.
Yes.
Trustee Leahy.
Yes.
President Everard.
Yes.
All right, and there's no action out of executive session tonight.
President Everard.
Here.
Vice President Wazor.
Here.
Secretary Zeller.
Yeah.
Treasurer Zimmerman.
Present.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Leahy.
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Seconded by Nora?
Trustee Leahy. Secretary Zeller.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Vice President Wazor.
Yeah.
Treasurer Zimmerman.
Yes.
President Everard.
Yes. All right, adjourn.